Hey, listen to Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 334. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan. We're going to talk about a little bit more Warhammer stuff. Now, hit our theme song! Hey, Ryan. We're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
We are back. What is going down?
A whole ton is going down. We got a new deck to talk about. Then we got another show to do later on in the day. We got some people to thank, some story to tell, some conversations to start. But before we do any of that, we have to thank our official business, Daddy'sFusionGamingOnline.com. They are the source for all your gaming needs.
Very much so. And I got a thing. Here's the thing.
What's the thing?
I got all my Warhammer 40K decks in.
Oh, you got all four?
I did.
Oh.
Had some credit, traded in some stuff. Always good to manage your collection. Always good to clean house every once in a while to get the stuff you really want. That's not what I was going to say, though.
But that is important stuff. So you don't have piles and piles of jank cards that you have to move around or take care of.
Yes.
You never have to do those posts on Facebook where you sort your jank.
Yeah. And so I did that, cashed in some credit, got all four decks. When I did, I used CCO Spring promo code, saved 5% off.
Did you save tons of money because you bought the collector's edition?
I did not. No, I bought the non-foil ones so I can alter them, put them on Facebook. You can check our Facebook page. Link will be here or wherever Joe puts it.
Every Thursday.
Still not what I was going to say. Yeah, and links to Facebook in the show notes, wherever you find the show. Still not what I was going to say. I cashed in with the promo code, CCO Spring.
Right.
You use that. You're going to buy the stuff anyways. You use it.
Right.
Get this.
Ooh.
I put in another order after that.
Oh, my God.
Because, you forget to put stuff, and then you put the thing.
You're sprechen my language.
October 11th, I put the order in. And I got the notification, your order's received, da-da-da-da-da. Later on October 11 still, your order has been shipped.
Ooh.
October 14, I got it.
Nice.
3 days.
That's pretty. And one of those days was like a holiday.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
CCO Spring promo code. I'm not saying that it gets you preferred shipping because it probably doesn't, but man, did I get my order fast.
He's not saying that, but I am. CCO Spring gets you preferred shipping. You will get your stuff fast.
There it is.
Because I got my stuff real fast, too. I had to get the, I didn't have to, but I wanted to get my shocks, my space shocks.
Does anybody have to? This is luxury cardboard rectangles.
And they rolled in and they showed up, and I took over the foil-less Friday.
What?
And I posted my shocks.
Yeah, with the, what's it called? Unicorn foil? Butthole foil?
Oh, no. Too rich for my blood.
Oh.
Only got regular foil.
Oh,
No.
Oh, because the shocks in that special foil treatment from Unhinged or Unfinity are like crazy expensive.
They start
$100.
They start at $100, and then they only go up from there.
Well, if you wanted to pay $95 for one of them, you could use CCO Spring Well.
And if you wanted to
buy yourself a beer after because you did good.
You could get two of them, save $10, and then use CCO Perks promo code to get some money back.
Listen to you. You're sitting in my seat and doing my job, selling the show.
I'm there. It's being on the left that makes you know all of the things.
I guess
Whereas
so.
sitting on the right makes you forget about all the things.
I don't even know where I am.
Exactly. See, we're in a different room today. You can see the thermostat behind us.
Yes, and this gigantic microphone rig that is in my face.
The mics are basically floating in space. It's incredible.
Yeah, which, I mean, probably makes them sound good, but...
And you'd know that they were floating in space if you're watching on YouTube, because you fucking should be, because Joe works really hard to make us look good, and we're ugly as hell. Mm-hmm. When you see us in Vegas, you're going to know that.
Oh, I'm so excited for Vegas. You got to tune in next week. We're doing 2 shows today, but it's not because they're coming out on a Tuesday, Wednesday like regular. I don't think. No, we're not. But we're doing 2 shows today. So on next week's show, we're going to talk a little bit more about the CCO experience because I am so pumped. I think I put it on our Discord, which is a Patreon benefit. We'll talk about that in a minute. I put it on the Discord where I said, okay, I'm going to call them party favors, but that makes them sound like
those little things go beep.
Yeah, or like things at weddings that you get that you don't want.
Or like we're being not euphemistic, but like we're bringing drugs, which we're not.
No. So
there's no little balloons of black tar heroin at the CCO experience.
No, but there are little things that we are going to give out that are round and they're fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
they
one.
are.
And they come in a little thing that you're going to like, and they come with some magic product that we're going to do something with that probably involves opening and drinking. And I even have a fun surprise that me and Pasty Amy have been working on. I didn't tell you about.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And we're going to pit it against each other, head to head, tip to tip, Ryan versus Brando.
So is this another thing that I'm going to win? Because that, like...
You're talking about Sidewalk Slam?
You're just setting me up to win everything, which I really appreciate. I really do like that.
We're partners in crime.
Yeah, it's important to be a winner.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to win at all costs.
Absolutely. That's what we're all about here.
What?
That's what we're all about here at the Nation, right?
Cheat, lie, steal, misrepresent your deck's power level. Tell people that you don't have combos and that you don't play tutors, but like today's deck, it's all combos and like 9 tutors.
Yeah. So
I'm lying, by the way. If you're new to CCO Nation, that's not what we're like here. I'm kidding.
Let me tell you what we are like here in the Nation. I'm talking to a guy at EDH the other day. And with all of the talk about like the big proxy conversation with Magic 30 and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, $1,000 proxies and that kind of stuff.
We got to talking about, well, like, so it sort of even more so kind of normalizes the proxies. So what if you just get this? You print out your whole deck on printer paper. The whole deck, basic lands, everything.
Yep.
Then you slide in your over top of your whole deck. Okay, because you've backed the decks with real cards, which we'll get to in a second. Then you slide your whole deck in front. Then you make sure that you use a Rule 0 commander, preferably from an unset. Okay. Ryan knows where I'm going now. So what you do is you play the game, and you're going along until you have a significant board state of whatever it is that you're playing.
Yeah, like you're dink stomping them.
Right?
Giving them the CCO stink face.
Or maybe you're not. Maybe you just have like 14 permanents. And then, Ryan, the facade falls away, and you pull out all those proxies that you've printed off to reveal 14 to 15 cheaty faces that you have then snuck into play with nobody noticing. Because WotC's setting us up for that, baby, and I want to do that so bad.
Cheaty face.
Right? Like, it's the perfect crime.
Oh, and then I mind slaver you and make more cheaty faces and say, you don't notice.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're new here, buckle up, baby, because that's what we're all about here in the Nation.
Buckle up, cheaty face.
Ooh, man, sitting over here does make me you. I'm going to do a segue.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of unproducts.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to our LGS owner.
Sure.
I had a thought. When you look at Infinity, some of the cards are legal in EDH.
Yes. And
some people who are into those sorts of things are going to build either the sticker deck or the attraction deck, or a combination of those two things.
Or sticker and attraction and contraption deck.
Yeah.
Like all of the unmechanics that you can play.
It's going to be a deck that's going to happen.
Sure.
I got to thinking. The sticker sheets.
Yep.
Right? After seeing them played a few times and hearing stories about the aftermath of the sticker sheets.
Yep.
They don't, in the experience of the people that I've talked to, or who are a few, they don't seem to be the most reusable. Because you got to remember what sheet which sticker came off, and lots of them are the same shape because some of them have a cost attributed to them.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes you lose one, or you can't get it off like the ketchup bottle you put it on for animate object or whatever, right? And so you're losing stickers, or they fall off your card and they fall on the floor, and now they're covered in sand. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what we have now is, if you've built your casual kind of fun little deck, which is totally cool, you have a game piece that you need that becomes semi-disposable or non-reusable. So in the future, like a year from now, are you going to have a usable sticker sheet for your sticker deck?
You know what I anticipate seeing in that regard?
And what do you do in that
I think that
situation?
I think that you'll have people who collect unpeeled sticker sheets. And I think that you'll see proxy artists or card printing places print what the sticker sheet looks like, but it's just a card. And then you'll have people carrying around those little sticky notes, like Post-it notes, like the real skinny ones that just look like little flags that you earmark the corner of a book with.
Oh,
like the little ones that are like little.
Yeah.
And you'll have a printed sticker sheet and a little pen that you'll write on. This green Post-it note is this hat. This pink one is this thing for animate object or whatever.
Sure.
Right?
This equals power toughness 5-6 or whatever.
Exactly. Or you'll have like a big piece of paper that's just folded up, but when you unfold it, it's all the stickers. It's like a sticker key. What they all do, like a table of contents for stickers.
A glossary, if you will.
A glossary, yes.
Oh,
that's another word that you could use to do it. I think that would be a suitable solution.
Yeah.
And then people don't have to unstick or stick to cards or stick to sleeves or whatever. If they're going to stick to sleeves, I would recommend you stick to, you pull your card like halfway out of its sleeve, and then you stick the sticker to the perfect fit on the card. So if you can't get it off the card itself or your outer sleeve, you can just exchange your inner sleeve. Those are all things that I've thought about over the last little while regarding stickers.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have any thoughts on that, let us know. Because it also, like, if you want to look at it in the, let's take it to the dark side.
Oh, yeah, I love the dark side. That's like doing anal.
Yeah. Uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Not for me.
No kink shaming in the nation.
Wait, that sounded weird, didn't it?
So, that also kind of opens the door a little bit for a disposable game piece.
It does.
Do you think we're going to see more of those kinds of things? Where it's like they're going to print things that, let's face it, are meant to be eternal in format, but are certainly not meant to last forever.
I got you. Monopoly.
Yeah.
Owned by Hasbro.
Yep.
Some subsidiary of.
Yep.
Has a new Monopoly that you write directly onto the board, and on the commercial it says, and permanently change the game. I think if that kind of board game gets or sees success, we'll see trickle effect into other games that want to try similar. Now, one does not necessarily lead to the other, but if one thing makes lots of money and sells lots of units because it's interactive in that way, like what makes a good video game? Interaction and creativity on your part. Why do people like RPGs? Because you can make your own shit, right?
Yeah.
I think that we could see some more RPG-like elements, interactive elements, permanently change the game elements, be incorporated into Magic, and I would even expect to see it in our next trip to Dungeons and Dragons Land.
Oh, shit.
Dungeons and Dink Stomping in our Discord. Love it. Speaking of our Discord.
Oh, there, look at it. See, he can still segue even though he's over there.
There we go. We've got a new patron.
Uh-oh.
Yes, Discord access, benefit to being a patron over at patreon.com/CCO Podcast. There is a tier for our creative team as well. I just asked him about top 5 lists. One day, when I have time and Brando can come to my house and we can do top 5 and 5s together again.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. We want some opinions, and you can do that in the Discord. We ask for content and suggestions and help all the time, even if it's just via private messages. I talk to lots of people in there. We've got a new one.
Tell me.
Patreon supporter, Matt Olson. I want to say Scat Hole Son.
Oh, like just shit all over him.
You heard the song Black Hole Sun? This
Yeah.
is Scat Hole Sun.
Yeah.
That works, doesn't it?
Yep. Scat hole son.
Scat Hole Sun, welcome.
Yep.
And
F you.
very much so.
It never
yeah.
fades away.
No.
No.
Speaking of Scat Hole, we've got a mono black deck.
Oh my God, yeah. It's
And here's the thing about it, you see, is I love mono black. I think it's my favorite mono color. That was the hint in yesterday's pre-show. And we want to touch on more on the Warhammer 40K decks because we think that was a great product.
Yeah.
The crossover is good. We want to see more stuff like this where they actually take time and attention into making a good product for the people outside of Magic to come and enjoy Magic.
which is cool.
I like it,
And
yes.
EDH and M on Thursday, a couple days ago. 3 individual unedited Warhammer decks being played.
Yes, and I guess
Pretty cool.
New cat's out of the bag. We're not going to do a spice calculator on this deck because of that reason. When you go to EDH Rec Deck, you kind of see that there's lots of pre-con effect happening where people are just entering 100% or 90% of their pre-con.
Tell them the other reason, Ryan.
And the other reason is this deck is a dirty, stinking, rotten combo deck with like a whole bunch of tutors and combo pieces.
Yeah.
I was being optimistic. Every Ever the optimist on CCO Podcast.
Ever the honest.
Chair-sittedness, chair arrangements will not change that. So give our commander a read here.
Trazyn the Infinite is a 4/6 for 6 legendary artifact creature, Necron, with Death Touch and Prismatic Gallery.
Sure.
As long as it is in play, it has the activated abilities of all artifact cards in your graveyard.
Ooh, so a little bit necrotic oozy.
I was going to say, it's like a callback to the very first cEDH deck I ever built, which was a Hermit Druid Necrotic Ooze combo deck.
Hey, those are still words that people in cEDH say, aren't they?
I think so.
Well, Hermy D is for sure.
Hermy D's like a guy on Twitter. And
yes, painted a very nice card for him.
Yeah, he showed it off on a stream. I
No
saw
way.
Him and Lily
Sure.
were on casually trying stream, and I popped in to like talk some shit.
Drop some.
And they were like, "Oh shit, it's CCO Brando. Ryan did these altars for me," and they like showed off some altars he did.
Oh, neat. He gave me a sweet shout out and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey.
Good dudes, good people.
Yes.
I shouldn't say dudes because girl and guy, but they are good people.
Good people. There we go.
Only the best in the nation, even if they are cEDH trash.
Oh, yeah. No, well, hey, you know what? We've got some cEDH cards in here. Now, not a cEDH deck, I don't think.
No.
Because there's certainly not enough interaction and stopping your opponent from doing stuff.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of deck that if you hang in metas like that or your friends are playing their competitive decks, this might be the kind of deck that can fly under the radar and get them before they can get you.
Yeah, this deck goes hard in the paint. It's got an idea, and it really
it's going for the layup, and it doesn't care if it gets a bloody nose. Hey, it's going.
Yeah.
And if somebody bats the ball down, well, now you're just like a 5'7" guy trying to play basketball with a bunch of 6'7s. But where do you want to start? We don't have custom categories. The deck is from Patreon supporter. It's another benefit. Super Ball Junior.
Super Ball Junior.
Super Ball Junior.
That is fantastic. That's a great name.
In our DGen competitive Discord thread.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
so this one came from a different channel than we normally pull decks from, but let's start with...
I don't think this one actually needs custom categories that much. If you've ever played Necrotic Ooze or a deck kind of like this, like everything kind of is where it needs to be, and everything sort of does what it says on the wrapper. So we can go through it as old school categories. I think the deck will still make sense.
So here's the thing. You got to remember that the commander is an artifact, a black artifact creature, which could be relevant. And what's its name? Trazyn? I always assume I'm saying it wrong.
Trazyn the Infinite.
Trazyn the Infinite cares about artifacts in our graveyard's activated abilities. He has them all. So let's go through the instants and sorceries and stuff before we get to the creatures and artifacts. Newsflash: a lot of the creatures are artifacts because they have activated abilities. So let's get through some of the fluff and appetizers and garnishes that are the instants and sorceries, and then we'll get into the meat, the paint, as it were, the painted meat.
We have a Vampiric Tutor.
That's a tutor.
Goryo's Vengeance.
That's a reanimation spell from graveyard to battlefield for 2 mana, but you sack it at end of turn, right?
Yeah.
So you would reanimate for 2 and then do your combo really quickly.
Yes.
And then kill.
Entomb.
Same thing. That searches, puts it into graveyard. So you find your combo piece.
Tutors to the yard. Demonic Consultation.
Ooh, there's a card.
That's a hell of a card.
You name a card, exile the top 6 of your library, then reveal down by exiling until you reveal the named card. And you exile all the ones you reveal and put that one that you named into your hand. So it's kind of a tutor, but it kind of can also get rid of your whole deck if that's what you need.
You name Scheherazade, and then you play Thal's Oracle. Thassa's Oracle.
But we don't got Thassa's Oracle.
We're not
in this
doing
deck.
that in this deck.
So it's probably just a tutor. We'll have to see.
Deadly Dispute.
That is an additional cost, sacrifice an artifact or creature, which is cool because we could sacrifice something that has an activated ability, like a metal worker or a grim monolith. We tap it for its mana, sacrifice it with Deadly Dispute, and then we draw 2 cards and create a treasure token so we get another mana. Mm-hmm. And then we can tap Trazyn if he's on the battlefield and get another couple mana. Ooh. What would we do with mana? We'll have to see.
We'll have to see later. We have a Dark Ritual and a Cabal Ritual. Those are both
Mana givers.
Giver thingies. Sorceries. We have one of your favorite cards all time in Yawgmoth's Will.
Ooh, also very time-consuming card to paint.
Yeah, lots going on there.
Yeah, lots going on there. Lets you play stuff from your graveyard until end of turn, including lands.
Unmarked Grave.
Ooh, search your library for a non-legendary card, put it into your yard, then shuffle. That's in Tomb 2.
And we've got, I think we have, these are 3 of them. No, we have Torment of Hailfire and Exsanguinate. Those are infinite mana
outlets.
Dumps to make you win.
Yep.
We have Skullstorm.
Oh, baby. Cool art, hey?
That is pretty neat.
I want to give somebody a Skullstorm. I don't know what that means, but it sounds dirty. When you cast this, you copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone. Remember, if we have infinite mana and a sack outlet, we can just play our commander infinite number of times and have infinite Skullstorm copies, and each opponent sacrifices a creature. Each opponent who can't loses half their life rounded up. So even when they get to 1, half of 1 rounded up is 1.
Then they die.
Then they are skulled.
Ritual of Soot.
Destroy all creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less. That's pretty good in more competitive circles with mana rocks and closer to the ground creatures.
Reanimate.
That's a reanimation spell.
Mandate of Abaddon.
Hey, this is Warhammer 40K. Why don't you give it a read?
Choose a target creature you control.
Yep.
Destroy all creatures that are wimpier than that creature.
Oh, power less than.
Yep.
Oh.
Like I said, wimpier.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Demonic Tutor.
That's tutor.
Damnation.
That's kill spell.
Buried Alive.
That's a tutor for 3 things, put them into your graveyard. Very key in this deck, I'll tell you that much.
Beacon of Unrest.
That's a reprint, even though I'm looking at the Warhammer 40K version.
That's right.
Hint, hint, Joe. That was me winking at Editor Joe to use that version.
Does it look cooler than the rest of them? It kind of does.
I don't know. You put target artifact or creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield, and then you shuffle Beacon of Unrest into your library.
From a graveyard.
Oh.
Hypothetically, you could get somebody else's shit.
What if I demonic consultationed everything out of my library and then Beacon of Unrested with infinite mana and like a draw spell?
You'd lose.
Sorry, not a draw spell. No, I would draw the Beacon of Unrest and play it again, and then it would shuffle back in, and I can infinitely reanimate everybody's library or graveyards.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, if we're playing like a Bolus's Citadel, which is another card that I think cEDHers are want to play. We could do that kind of thing. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
I guess so.
Yeah, if we're gonna make infinite mana.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Should we get into the meat?
Okay, give me the meat. Give it to me raw.
Let's start with the enchantments.
Shout out to all the Rings of Power people out there who get the reference. Have you seen it yet?
No.
Oh, god dang it. I just watched the season finale.
I'll bet it was very long with lots of talking.
There was some talking.
Bet you there was. All
Never
right.
long enough, though. That's what she said?
Sinister concoction.
Sinister concoction. I'm going to leave it at that.
I said it the way I meant to say it.
Enchantment? We're doing enchantments, I guess.
Yes.
Enchantment for black. Black, pay 1 life. I'm listening. Put the top card of your library into your graveyard, discard a card, sacrifice a creature, destroy target creature.
No, it sacrificed this. So you pay 1. Then you pay another 1. You pay a life. You mill a card. You discard a card.
Jesus.
You sacrifice it, and you kill a thing.
Whoa, what a sinister concoction.
Like, I get why it's there to put cards from your hand and from your library into your second hand.
Yes, I can activate. No, I can't because I have to pay all costs before.
I feel like that's just a flex. Look at how
you
cool
discard a
card.
card. You discard a card and you What do? You mill a card and you discard a card.
Yeah.
This is to get a card from my hand.
Yeah.
Or the card on the top of my library.
Yeah.
Into my graveyard so Trazyn can have its activated ability.
That is
That's
correct.
what this is for. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. Phyrexian Scriptures. Let me do this one because it's far away from your face. It's a fucking saga for Black 2, Chapter 1. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. That creature becomes an artifact in addition to its other types.
Ooh.
Chapter
that's
2.
Pretty good.
Destroy all non-artifact creatures.
That's like all of them that aren't ours.
Chapter 3. Exile all cards from all opponents' graveyards.
Opponents' graveyards.
Opponents' graveyards.
Not ours.
not ours.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, that would be what a non-bow. Necropotence.
Oh, or as some say, necropotence.
Nobody says that.
Necropotence. Black, black, black enchantment. Skip your draw step.
Now I'm listening.
Oh, baby. Pay 1 life, exile the top card of your library, and at end of turn, you get that card.
Neat.
Pay 100 life, get all your cards. It's the only way to do it.
That's how this card works, and it's for now. Here, honestly, I don't think that this deck needs this card, so I think that our boy just put it in here so that we can have another one of those Brando v. Ryan things where, like we did with Smothering Tithe, where I say it's good, and, people are gonna play it, and you're gonna say, nah, it's not that good, and then when the years go by, people will be like, man, that Brando,
I'm still on Team Ryan. Just FYI.
Okay, so Biotransference is an enchantment for black, black 2. Creatures you control are artifacts in addition to their other types. The same is true for creature spells you control, so when they're on the stack, they're artifacts, and creature cards you own that aren't in play. So in your graveyard.
Ooh. In exile, they're artifacts?
They're artifacts all the time.
Wow.
And if that wasn't enough, it also says when you cast an artifact spell, you lose a life and create a 2/2 black Necron warrior artifact creature token.
I like that.
I think this is one of those cards. It's not going to like break the format wide open, but I think it's one of those cards that like you're going to see it popping up in decks because your creatures being artifacts is relevant.
Yeah, well, think of Mycosynth Lattice. People play that card to make stuff artifacts to combo with artifacts.
Yeah.
You think of like get any creature that you want to combo with that needs to be an artifact for our commander to like work. Now it works. You
could play this card in a Rakdos list and use all those Goblin artifact tutors.
Goblin artifact
tutors? You could use Goblin Welder.
Oh, those, yeah.
To turn a treasure token into an Ulamog.
Ooh, yeah, Treasure Mog.
Right? Like,
yeah, his head is like a treasure chest.
Yes.
It sounds like a D&D creature.
That's a mimic.
A mimic. It's just Ulamog, but his head is a treasure chest.
Kind of, yeah. His mouth is the treasure chest.
Yes,
big
yes,
teeth.
yes,
There's
yes.
Tentacles that pop out of it and shit.
Teeth and tentacles. Man, what are we talking about?
Mimics are scary as hell. That's all the enchantments. Biotransference, I'm not sure why it's in here. We're not playing a ton of creatures that aren't artifacts. Maybe it's just in here for future use.
Well, if we're going to gain life in any meaningful way, we can maybe loop artifacts and get a whole bunch of attacking tutus.
Yeah.
Or tutus that we can sacrifice for future benefit.
Yeah. We're going to make 4/4s later on. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay, let's look at the arties. This is the artifact section proper, not the creature section, but there is some serious overlap. But let's get some mana rocks out of the way here first.
Okay, we got Sol Ring.
Yep.
Skeleton Shard? No, Skeleton Shard isn't an artifact. Is that it? Mana Vault, Lotus Petal,
Jet Medallion, Grim Monolith, Gilded Lotus,
Chromatic Orrery, and
we'll count that.
Basalt Monolith.
Oh, nobody's ever comboed with Basalt Monolith.
Yeah. Although lots of those are also combo pieces. Like if you remember what our commander does, has all activated abilities of all artifacts in your graveyard, Basalt Monolith and Chromatic Orrery is automatically infinite mana.
Give Chromatic Orrery an example read.
Chromatic Orrery is an artifact for 7.
Ooh.
You may spend mana as though it were any color. You tap it to add 5 colorless, and then it also has 5 tap, draw a card for each color among permanents you control. So, I mean, technically with infinite mana, it also draws your whole deck.
So we could tap it for 5 and use it to untap our Grim Monolith or our Basalt Monolith.
Right.
Because those untap for 3 and 4. We would net 2, and then we could tap the Grim Monolith for 3 and untap it for... How does it go infinite?
Well, they're both in your graveyard, so you tap...
Oh, it's one card doing both things. You're tapping and untapping one guy.
Yeah, you tap Trazyn for 5,
yes.
and then use the Basalt Monolith's ability to untap itself for 3, netting 2 and untapping your guy. Bam, 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 bam.
You net
2 each time, and if you do it with Mana Vault, you net 1 each time.
Grim Monolith, you net 1, because it untaps for 4.
Sure.
And it costs 2. That's the benefit of Grim Monolith. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it costs 2 or 3 or 7 because it's all on your commander that costs 6 that you can power out early, like on turn whatever, after you've entombed or milled yourself.
Yes.
So Cool.
We also have a Lightning Greaves and a Swiftfoot Boots. Those are there to protect your dude, not give him equip. Although it technically does give him equip.
That's goofy.
And we're also playing a Trading Post.
Oh, okay. So you can pay 1, tap, discard a card. Oh, maybe one that you want in your graveyard to gain 4 life. Hey, pretty good with biotransference. Okay, you could pay 1, tap, pay 1 life, create a 0/1 goat.
A goat?
Sure. It would be an artifact with biotransference.
That's
that
true.
might matter. You could pay 1, tap, sack creature, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Might be important.
There might be some. You get your Lightning Greaves back or whatever.
That's pretty good, yeah. And 1, tap, sack an artifact, also good. My Grim Monolith example from before where you play it, tap it, sacrifice it to draw a card.
Neat.
Yeah.
Staff of Domination.
Oh, Jesus. Another one of those ones that's got 19 abilities that go infinite in every way. Okay, so here's the thing. You can untap it for 1 mana. Just pay 1, untap it. We've already established a couple different ways to make either a lot of mana or like burst mana with the rituals and sacrificing mana rocks and then tapping our commander.
Now, I have a real question about this.
Or we've established ways to make infinite.
It draws cards, it taps creatures, it untaps creatures, it gains life.
And it draws cards. And it taps creatures. And it untaps creatures.
That's what I said.
And it gains life.
Skeleton Shard.
Oh, yeah. You can pay 3 to return an artifact or creature from your grave to your hand, or you can just play black and do the same.
Artifact creature. Not artifact or creature. It's artifact creature.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Sculpting Steel.
Ooh, this is kind of like Clone, but just for artifacts, right?
Exactly.
Copies an artifact when it enters.
Retrofitter Foundry.
Here's another one of those ones with a bunch of different abilities that you could take advantage of. You can pay 3 to untap it. Ooh, so you can untap it infinitely if you have infinite mana. You can pay 2, tap, create a 1/1 artifact creature. You can pay, what is it?
1.
1. Sacrifice a...
First ability, you make a servo. The second ability, you sack a servo to make a Thopter. And then the last ability, you sack a Thopter to make a Construct, which is a 4/4.
Oh, there's the 4/4s.
So you go from a 1/1 to a 1/1 with flying to a 4/4.
There
And all of that's on your commander. So again, infinite mana, infinite untappy, tappy tap, infinite 4/4s. We're gonna find a way to give them all haste here later on in the thing. Spoiler alert. Mirage Mirror.
Oh, that's pay 2. Mirage Mirror becomes a copy of target artifact, creature, enchantment, or land until end of turn.
You can get real tricksy with that. If you layer them properly, you can turn your dude into a whole bunch of different stuff and do all kinds of crazy shit.
Yes, you activate that ability maybe a couple times in a row and you resolve them individually so you can take advantage of it being this thing and then that thing and then this thing and then that thing.
Yep.
Bonus points if you make it a Cabal Coffers because we're playing that, and you can like give yourself more burst mana to then combo with, of course.
Mesmeric Orb.
Oh, here's another Mill Your Whole Deck card.
Yep.
If we can untap infinite times, Mesmeric Orb says whenever a permanent becomes untapped, that permanent's controller mills a card.
So if you tappy, untappy your commander to make infinite mana, you also mill your whole graveyard and then you have your combo.
Yeah.
We have a mana vault. I don't know if we mentioned that.
No, we didn't, but it makes mana and you can untap it.
You can tap it for 3 or untap it for 4.
During your upkeep, though, so it's not really a combo piece. It's a burst mana piece.
Yeah. Grim Monolith we talked about. Gilded Lotus we talked about. Currency Converter.
Hey, you read this one because I have no idea what this even does.
Okay, so it's an artifact for 1. Whenever you discard a card, you can exile that card from your graveyard. It's a May. 2, tap, draw a card, discard a card. Tap, put a card exile with Currency Converter into your graveyard. If it's a land, you get a treasure token. If it's a non-land, you get a 2/2 black rogue.
Oh, so we're making rogues
Yep.
because that's what we want back in our graveyard, artifacts, if you will. And it lets us discard.
Yes.
Yes, very important that if we draw the card that we need in our graveyard, very important that we can get it into our graveyard.
So it'd be strange. It'd be kind of interesting if we could say tap and untap that with infinite mana and infinite tap and untaps. You could then draw your entire deck, put your entire deck into exile, return your entire deck to exile, making even more mana and having, let's call it, 75 2/2s.
Oh, yeah.
So pretty good.
There we go.
Move on to some Creech.
I love a good Creech in the morning.
We got some good Creech. We'll start with Walkie Bee.
Walkie Bee, one of my favorite Creech. Yeah, XX, one short of my favorite type of or grouping of X's. This is XX for an artifact creature construct, 0/0, enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. You could pay 4 to put a +1 on it, and you can remove a +1 to deal a damage with it.
So that's obvious. Everybody knows what we're doing with
Pay
that.
4 an infinite number of times, and then remove all those counters.
Correct.
Conversely, you could just have infinite mana and then cast it for X.
Yeah.
So this isn't one that needs to be in your graveyard. This is one that maybe if you draw it or need to play it or you get it back, you tutor it into your hand, you can just cast it.
Voltaic Construct.
Untap target artifact creature. That's just its ability. You can pay 2 to untap it. Notable, our commander, an artifact.
Yes.
Ooh.
Vile Entomber.
Enters the battlefield, search your lib. See what I did there?
Yep.
Yeah, shorten it. Put it into your graveyard.
Now, behind him, is that the Art of Entomb? Because like there's the hand coming out of the thing with like the red light hitting it. Is that like a little Easter egg for
Good, yeah, good catch.
I think-
That's my new headcanon. That's happening. That's happening in my head now.
Neat.
Yep.
Triskelion.
Oh, nobody's ever comboed with this. Okay. Enters the battlefield with 3 +1s on it.
Sure.
So it's a 1/1 for 6, but we don't care because we're just going to discard it or mill it. You can remove a +1 to deal a damage. If for whatever reason you can't activate the one walking ballista thing, but you have infinite counters on your guy,
Yeah.
and he's got Triskelion's ability, well, there you go.
Let's skip ahead. We are playing the entire Mike and Trike combo, indicating that we're also playing Macias the Unhallowed, which with Triskelion or Walking Ballista is an infinite combo that wins you the game.
Yes, because you can remove counters until you remove the last one, and then your guy can die or whatever, and then you get him back because Macias the Unhallowed gives him undeath, undying,
some kind of fucking thing.
where he comes back with a +1/+1 counter.
Yep.
Okay, sure.
Yep. So it's a thing.
We're playing another one like that. We'll get to it. I want to touch on it just because it's old and cool.
Scourge Familiar. That's not it, but it is cool.
Yeah, this is a card, hey? Discard a card, get a black mana.
And it's a 3/2 flyer for 5.
That's a pretty freaking good card.
And it has cool art.
Yeah, that's the Madi Ho-Ho one, right?
Yeah. Let's talk some art, Ryan.
Look at the creature type there, too. Phyrexian.
Yeah?
Yeah, and Imp for my Imp tribal deck I'm working on.
Is that real?
No, I just made it up. But one day.
So we're going to talk art for a second. Because Phyrexians typically are things that the Phyrexians have, like, taken in and completed, right?
Phyrexianized.
So what the fuck is that?
That's an old school Phyrexian. They're way more badass.
What did it used to be, though?
Don't care.
Like a ball?
It was something. And a Phyrexian, like the old school ones anyways, were considered complete when all living flesh has been replaced by metal. So maybe it was something, but now it doesn't even matter what it is.
Because it's still got flesh on its back there, an arm, and then it's got this weird ball head.
Maybe it's not complete.
It's weird.
Maybe it just wanted to be a ball head, okay? No kink shaming.
Sure. Let's talk about Scarecrow.
Oh, yeah, good include. 1, sacrifice a Scarecrow, a.k.a. itself, draw a card. Then you can pay 4, tap, return target artifact creature card from your graveyard to the B.
That's pretty good.
That's good because we might want like a Triskelion or something. I don't know.
Putrid Imp. I love this card.
Okay, you read this one. You know what this one does.
Putrid Imp is a 1/1 for 1 that has discard a card from your hand. Putrid Imp gains flying until end of turn.
Oh.
It also has Threshold. Putrid Imp gets +1/+1 and can't block.
Oh. Another in the Imp tribal.
Yeah, the old Dredge enabler. My favorite play of all time with Putrid Imp. All time.
What is it?
You go, you have flying? And they go, nope. Then you attack him with a Putrid Imp.
Yep.
And he doesn't have flying. But they don't block it anyway. Oh, I love that. I love it so much.
I love discarding a card to make it have flying because it's kind of ironically funny where giving something flying at the cost of a card in my hand, not really good. Because the card in my hand is better than 1 damage if they've got like non-flying blockers.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't even block once you got Threshold. But if I discard a Walking Ballista,
Yeah.
that's pretty freaking good.
Pretty decent. Or if you discard a Pilipala.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a thing. Okay, so it's a flyer. 1/1 flyer for 2. Hey, just like Putrid Imp. Sort of. You can pay 2 and untap it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. You untap it by paying 2.
Yeah.
So if you can tap your Grim Monolith for 3, and you can untap for 2. You're netting a colorless and making a black.
Yeah.
So you can make infinite colorless and infinite black if you've got a Grim Monolith and a Pillipala in your graveyard with your commandy. It's pretty freaking good.
It's not too bad. Phyrexian Devourer.
Now, you want to talk about what the hell is that thing? What did that used to be? If you're not watching on YouTube, you should be. Stop what you're doing and look at this card. It's a 1/1 for 6. And I'll say again, I'm listening. If it has 7 or more power, you got to sacrifice it. But we don't even care because we want it in our graveyard anyways. You can pay 0 and put the remove the top card of your library from the game to put X +1/+1 counters on Phyrexian Devourer, where X is equal to that card's casting cost. So you just exile the top card of your library when Phyrexian Devourer is in your graveyard and start making your guy get +1/+1s. Not infinitely, but enough probably to kill somebody with a Walkie Bee or a Triskelion. This is another combo piece with Triskelion, Walkie Bee, and what's his name? Trazyn? Tarzan? Trazyn. I want to call him Tarzan. Tarzan.
We can call him whatever we want. It's our show.
The cool thing about it is you don't have to sacrifice Tarzan because if Phyrexian Devourer's power is 7 or greater, sacrifice it. That's a static ability, not an activated. So Tarzan doesn't get that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and even if it was, you could respond to the you have to sacrifice ability on the stack to just keep doing it?
No, that's just a passive ability. It's like it checks. It checks like a state-based action.
It doesn't be like...
It doesn't use the stack.
Oh, that's
It's like if your creature's power or toughness is 0, it just dies.
Oh,
that's
dang.
like if your creature's power is 7, it dies.
A piece of junk.
Yeah, a piece of junk.
Card sucks. Patchwork Gnomes.
What the ass? Discard a card, regenerate Patchwork Gnomes, a.k.a. discard a card to get your combo piece into the graveyard, regenerate your commander.
Palladium Mirror.
That would tap them. And what's funny is you'd need an untap then, because regenerate taps the creature.
Yes.
Just FYI for the newer nationalites out there that don't know that's.
They don't remember regenerate because they only know indestructible.
Yeah.
Palladium Mirror taps for 2.
Yeah. Ornithopter in Paradise taps for a color.
Una's Prowler.
Discard a card. It gets it gets -2, -0. That's weird.
It's a discard outlet.
Yeah, that's fine.
You discard your hand to it to make your bro small, but to put all your combo pieces into your graveyard.
Yes.
Metalworker.
Oh, yeah. Reveal any number of artifacts from your hand, and you get mother ass 2 mana for each one. This guy makes you like 10 mana every time you tap him, hey?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I've seen a turn 1 Kozilek off a turn 1 Metalworker one time.
Yeah.
With Lightning Greaves.
Jesus.
Did not win. I did not win that game. I got Annihilator Ford when I had 1 land.
Dang. Laden Mirror taps for black.
Yep.
Gravebreaker Lamia is another to the graveyard tutor.
Yep.
Golem Artisan.
Hey, we can pay 2 to target artifact creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn, sure. Or we can pay 2, target artifact creature gains your choice of flying, pretty good. Trampski, pretty good. Or haste.
Important.
Oh, yes, because we can make infinite mana and have infinite dudes and say, oh, what am I supposed to do?
Now you have infinite Flampling Hasters.
I'll give them all the Flampling haste they can handle.
Farmstead Gleaner.
What hey, this is a Scarecrow. Goes good with, what's that guy?
Scarecrow.
Yeah, okay. Farmstead Gleaner doesn't untap during your untap step. Don't care. We can pay 2 and tap. No, 2 and untap.
Yes.
Yeah. Put a +1/+1 counter on Farmstead Gleaner.
It's another combo with Triskelion and Walkie Bee.
Yes.
Egon, God of Death.
This is a double face card from Kaldheim. Let's read the other side. That's the one that we care about.
Yeah, the front side is a 3/3 for 6 that makes you sack things and whatever. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. This is an artifact for 1.
And we want this because turn 1 mill a card is like, hey, this is gonna get us going.
Black 2 tap, exile a creature card from your G, draw a card.
Exile a creature from your G, draw a card. And this is an artifact, so our Tarzanius guy would be able to exile a creature from our yard to draw a card.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Let's talk Spell Shapers.
Oh, yeah, this is from Nemesis. Man, this is 1999. Half our audience.
Not even born.
Not even born.
Not
yet.
even
not
born
even
yet.
Born. Tyler Coates, probably not even born.
Divining Witch.
This is
Demonic consultation.
Yes, I was going to say, this is demonic consultation on a creature. This is a 1/1 for 2. Pay black 1, tap, discard a card from your hand. That's like the card that you're getting, right?
Yeah.
And then you get a demonic consultation.
It turns any card into a demonic consultation.
Neat.
It's pretty good.
Good if you have haste, too. It's like a 4-mana demonic consultation. Most times, I'll probably take that.
Yeah?
Yeah, demonic consultation, good enough to still cost 4.
Chronomancer.
What the hell? It's got Unearth. It flies. And you could pay 1, tap, sacrifice another artifact, draw a card. Oh, that's just like...
Drawing a card.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if the artifact is in our battlefield or in our graveyard most of the time.
For the most part, yeah. It's just, as long as it's somewhere that people can see it with their eyes. Bog Witch is another spell shaper, except she turns whatever card you discard into a dark ritual.
Yes, gets you 3 mana. That's a gooder. Now, notably, Trazyn wouldn't get her ability because that and Divining Witch, both creatures, not artifacts.
If only we had a biotransference.
Oh no, biotransference.
Oh no, biotransference doing the job. Oh,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. And
Oh, good luck.
Anal Raker the Traveler.
Anal Rake Traveler.
Yeah.
4/4 for black 4. Necron artifact creature legend. 40K Warhammerite. Whenever what did you call it? Rake?
Anal Raker.
Yeah, Ass Raker attacks. You may cast an artifact spell from your hand or your G by paying life equal to its mana cost rather than paying its mana cost.
That's pretty cool. Man.
I think that this one should be Bolas's Citadel.
This card blows my mind that it's only $2.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, it's a one-time use Bolas's Citadel. Right?
One time per turn.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's just...
And you have to attack. It's not even an activated ability.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's crap.
Well, it's a 4/4. The 4/4s get in, I guess, don't they? Like early and mid-game, 4/4s get in.
That's probably shit. This card sucks.
Ugh.
Let's go on to a real card.
This is a stinker.
Let's talk about a real creature here, Ryan. Let's talk
creature
about
in the deck. This is it.
Amaranthine Wall.
Anal Ramthine Wall.
Yeah.
Emphasis on anal ram wall. It kind of looks like the purple cube game thing from Reboot.
Yep, it does.
Remember that? Yeah. Except
yep,
it's like...
Do I remember that? Fuck.
It's the only thing you remember.
I know.
This is a 4-mana artifact creature wall with Defender. 0/6. Hey,
Oh,
there's some good 0/6s out there.
Yeah.
Okay. You can pay 2. Anal ram through wall. Gains indestructible until end of turn.
So it gives your commandee indestructible.
Yes. Now, this card, probably the worst card of the deck. But what I saw in the Discord conversation is, how do I protect my commander more? How do I make it so I don't have to play like Dash Hopes, counter target spell unless its controller pays 5 life?
Which they will.
Because they'll pay 5 life every time.
Yep.
Right? So how do I protect my commander? Because it is the piece that I need to make the deck work.
Yep.
And this is one of those things that all you have to do is mill it. Then you've got pay 2 Rattlesnake, make my guy indestructible.
Yep.
Like on a stick. And you can get through Damnation with this one because it's indestructible, not regenerate.
Right.
Whereas with the other one where we saw the regenerate, the bottle gnomes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That regenerates.
Clockwork gnomes. It doesn't matter.
Clockwork gnomes or whatever it was. Yeah. Patchwork gnomes.
Patchwork gnomes.
Yeah, it doesn't get through Damnation. But Anal Ram Wall does.
Yes.
So pretty cool stuff.
That's the deck.
Yeah, that's the deck. Okay, so here we go. We said we're going to forego Spice Calculator today because, as we hopefully demonstrated, there isn't a whole bunch of ways to win that don't run directly through the commander.
At the end of the day,
and there's a bunch of tutors.
The deck wins by tapping and untapping your commander for 2 beneficial effects, and then that's how you win.
And then vomiting all over your opponents.
Yeah, like you attack with hasty dudes, you Triskelion them out. Like
that sounds like a strength.
But
hear me out. Okay, let's move to strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
And I got some question for you.
All right, sure.
That's French for question for everybody who does not live in Canada.
Right.
Okay, so strength. Lots of ways to combo.
Technically.
Like, yes. Sorry. Lots of combo redundancy. How about that?
Yeah,
there we go. There we go.
Because there's only one way we combo in this deck.
Yes. We've got a combo enabler in the command zone.
Yes.
Which is the important thing.
Yes.
That when your engine and your enabler and the thing that you use to win the game is right in the command zone, it makes it very easy to win, I'm going to say.
Sure.
Easy to attempt to win.
Yeah,
which is when you goldfish, you can't really not win, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? So this deck goldfishes very well. And I bet you could find, I didn't do the math, and the commander costs 6, but I bet you could find combo wins if you mill the right cards, like as early as turn 2 or 3 if you got like a dark ritual and a mill effect or something, right?
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
You could probably do it.
They're pretty quick.
You give me a jeweled lotus and a mana rock and boom.
Yeah.
That's all you need, really.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so moving over to weaknesses, though.
Yeah.
Combos run through the command zone, and if they take out a mana rock or if they take out your commander in response after you've sacrificed your mana rock to do the thing, then you're left with an 8-drop commander.
Yep. Or a 10-drop or a 12, because you have a kill on sight commander, and I think this is the biggest weakness of this whole Warhammer deck.
Oh.
Your commander is an artifact, which makes it way easier to kill.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yep. Now, I want to zoom out a little bit for this next weakness.
Okay.
And this goes with some of the questions that I want you to try to answer with me.
Okay.
Is we have a deck that's a little bit hard to place in a meta. And I'll tell you what I mean. At the start of the show, we said it isn't necessarily a cEDH deck, though you could run it in that group.
Probably could.
But if you want to win, because when you're playing higher competition level, the aim is to win.
Right.
This deck probably won't win that often.
Right.
You played in a lower powered, lesser competitive group or pod, and you're going to probably dink stomp a bunch of people to the point of saying, all you do is play combos, all you do is tutor, all you do is the same thing every time, and we don't want to play with you.
Right.
How do you place this deck? What do you do? What would you do?
This is the deck that I would play my Omnath Locus of Rage deck against. This is your high power, this is an actual 7 out of 10 deck.
You think so?
I think so. This is an actual, it's on the higher end of the power scale, but it doesn't have the interaction that maybe it might need.
And the stopping power to stop other combo decks or whatever.
And it can do 6 on turn 2, mana to play your guy, but if it's powering out that kind of mana, it's not necessarily milling itself that hard to get the combo pieces in the graveyard. There's lots of opportunities for your opponents to interact with it. So I think that this is a very good high-power casual deck. And if you were to just say, hey, this is my high-powered casual deck, people are going to know what that means. And I think it's going to be easier than people think to interact with this. The first couple of times they see it, they're going to go, oh, that deck's way too strong. But then once you play it a couple of times and see it whiff a couple of times, because it will, you're going to it'll be fine. It's going to be just another deck, and he says, hey, I'm going to play my Trazyn deck. Sure, I'll bust out Brutaclad, and you'll play Atraxa, and you'll play Omnath, and then you'll have a good game, and it'll be super fun.
Yeah, I think that lots of people, when they see a deck like this, they either don't have the mindset that their decks run enough removal, and I'm not saying just play removal scrub, it dies to removal scrub. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is people have the mindset that they want to play the stuff that they want to play, right? And a deck like this that combos them too fast won't let them do that. But in reality, I've got Swords and Path and Doomblade and Anguished Unmaking and whatever in, let's say, my Orzhov deck.
Sure.
I've got all those cards. And if I have those cards when you play your commander, I kill it. And then we go again.
Yep.
Right? Or sorry, what I mean, we go again is you try to do your thing, I continue to do my thing, and the game continues. If I don't have that, if variance happens to me, like variance just happened to you when I killed your thing, if variance happens to me and I don't have it, then you do the thing and we play again. And that's just how Magic works. And over time, with talking like you and I are talking right now, those things just happen, and sometimes you hit a home run, sometimes you strike out. Yep. And that's just how it kind of works, I guess.
I think that this deck runs into 2. When I was reading the list before we started the recording today, I ran across two really, really, really glaring what I think are weaknesses.
Sure.
One of them is collector oof. Okay? Or even worse, null rod.
Yes.
This deck cannot beat null rod.
Well, and that's why harder control shells or even stacks decks in higher powered pods, that's why those exist. And that's why those strategies are good, because decks are trying to fly under the radar and do stuff like this deck's trying to do.
And the other one, I think this is more of it depends on you as a human, as a player, as a agent in the world. I think that this deck could get frustrating to play for people once your pod...
Like you playing it yourself or playing against it?
You as the pilot. This would be frustrating to pilot once your friends or your playgroup kind of know what's up, because it just becomes, well, there's two blue up over there. Yeah, he's definitely saving counterspell for my guy. Because without your guy, your deck doesn't really do that much. So it's just a matter of keeping up removal mana, and as soon as he hits the table, it's kill on sight, and 3 people are trying to kill it.
Yes.
And eventually you're not going to be able to make 18 mana because all your good mana rocks are in the G.
Yes. And we've said this kind of thing before, but I'll say it again here. I think that a deck like this gets better, like will win a higher percentage of the time, if you make the deck worse, which is very counterintuitive. I'm going to make my deck less powerful, but I'm going to win more. It's not something that you automatically think of. You want to make it more powerful, add more tutors, more consistency, more redundancy. But if I make it less good and let it scoot a little bit more, like under the radar of my friends or teammates, meta people, they're going to leave it alone, allowing me to do my thing in a spot where I can pick, instead of in a spot where my opponents let me pick because they tried to win and somebody else stopped them. Yeah. Right? I do this very thing with my Balthor deck, also a mono black combo deck where the backup win con is zombie tribal, because zombies have like 10 or 12 lords. Yeah. I just play all of them, and look at that. All my zombies are 5/5s and 6/6s, and that too can win, but it's not as threatening as mill my entire library and then combo and then Gray Merchant you for 50 3 times because I'm going to sack them and reanimate them. Yeah. Right? Like, that is a lot more threatening. But because I do the zombie tribal thing instead of the combo and tutor thing, I win more games with that deck than I think this deck might, even though this deck is probably faster.
Yeah.
So anyways, back to actual strengths and weaknesses. You could build this deck on the budget or not on the budget. I don't know if that's a strength or weakness, but I want to touch on it. This deck as built today, $947. If we cut out some of the fast mana rocks, obviously we still have room for combo potential with Basalt Monolith instead of Grim Monolith, for example.
Well, we're playing,
maybe you put both. A Doomblade in instead of a Grim Monolith and save yourself $25 for the
shitty gold border one
and $250 for the black bordered one, for example, right?
Yes. Yogg-Will also $45 for the gold bordered one that we're playing in this deck.
And what's the black bordered one? 400?
Yeah.
So like you could cut the tutors and make the deck slower and less consistent, thereby potentially making it better, and then save yourself some money. And I think that that's a strength if you're new and just got your first precon with the Warhammer 40K stuff, for example, and want to get a more tuned 7 or 8 out of 10 type deck.
And this deck, if you're going to buy the bare bones of it, which is the precon, good pickup, because there's lots of, air quotes, valuable stuff in it. There's lots of stuff that you're going to want in that precon. So
and you know what?
Cool.
Everybody I see on Twitter is telling me that the precons out of the box slap, both against each other and hanging out in other metas where you're playing against regular casual to higher power casual decks. These decks, I think, have the top end to hang with the boys in the paint, if you will.
They certainly do. This one, I think, is really funny because if this one out of the box, if you get Vandal Blasted, it's the funniest thing. Because all you have left is land. It just blows you all the way out, which I love. Yes. Not blowing somebody all the way out, but like just the look. There's that look on the face where they realize, oh, that's an artifact and that's a...
You know what? When I have that kind of thing happen to me, maybe this is the CCO life lesson of the day. When I have that exact thing happen to me, I got to just laugh and say, instead of saying, no, man, it's going to ruin my whole game. Oh, no. Instead of that, I say, do what you got to do because I'm trying to win. And you know what? It's my fault for putting every single artifact in this deck. And I'm just going to sit and drink beer and still have fun because I'm playing with my friends.
Or you just take all your stuff and put it in the yard and just sit there with nothing in play. And somebody will eventually go, what happened to all your stuff? You know what? I think it's funny. I love it. I think the pre-con is great. And I think this deck is really good as well.
And if you want to pick up that pre-con, you can head over to fusiongamingonline.com, use CCO Spring promo code to get 5% off. It's pretty good.
Sick.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming eventually we're going to get singles from them as well. If you're only looking for, say, the Commander or an Anal Raker, the Traveler.
Yep.
Or the really cool Sol Ring that comes with this deck is really neat.
There you go.
Right? There's lots of cool stuff that you can pick up from there, all at a discount. And it also supports the show and lets the business daddies know that Business Baby here is a good investment.
Very much so. And if you want altered versions, facebook.com/CCO Podcast every Thursday.
Every dang old Thursday.
I think this Thursday and next Thursday is going to be Warhammer stuff.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to be Warhammering them out. Huh?
Get out.
Yeah, see you later.
Are you going to put a Stormtrooper on the laser swamp?
I could if I felt like it.
Because it's like POV, they're missing you.
Man, I love POV.
And on that note, we are going to get out of here, get a drink. We're going to come back in here 5 minutes from now for us a week ago.
Sure.
A week for you guys, and then we're going to be back with another exciting episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme song!